Okay, well this video probably won't appear until tomorrow because I'm not going out again. I'm trying to kill mosquitoes in here. The place is full of them now. I did get Rocky in. I made a video of me getting Rocky in, but I'm not going to show it because it did get really ugly. And it could easily be interpreted that I abused Rocky because I did hurt him when I brought him in. He was screaming when I brought him in because of the way I handled him. So I didn't have a choice. I can't get under that trailer where he can barely reach him, and I had to grab him and basically physically and very roughly pull him out of there. So anyway, I got covered in mud in the process. Covered in mud from head to toe now, which is no fun, especially out here. We don't have much water. It's great. Anyway, bottom line is, though, he's okay. He's not like he's permanently injured or anything. But if he had stayed out all night, there's things out there. There's raccoons and fishers and everything else. And he wouldn't last the night. He thinks he would, but he wouldn't. His sister, Muella, is buried out that way. And, she stayed out all night one night. By 11:30 that night, she was dead. That's how it is here. You know, this is not a friggin' Disney movie we're living in here. This is a really serious situation, and we're living a very precarious existence. And sometimes that means that things have to be done that aren't altogether pretty. But because we're living in a society that's made up of snowflakes, if I put the video out and show how I actually got him in here tonight, I have no doubt that it'll just take one person, one snowflake, to, there we go, got that one, to decide that it was an act of abuse on my part, and then I'm going to have all kinds of trouble, all kinds of drama that I don't need, and that isn't warranted. I did what I had to do. I didn't like it. I feel bad that it came to that. But I did what I had to do, and now Rocky's in here where he's safe from fishers and raccoons and coyotes. And that wouldn't have happened otherwise. He wasn't going to come in on his own. In fact, he purposely put himself in a place where I couldn't get at him so that he wouldn't have to come in. And that forced me to get right down into the mud. And to be kind of rough anyway, which I didn't enjoy that at all, and I don't want to do that anymore. It breaks my heart when I have to do that. But it is what it is, too. I mean, I'll do what I need to do. I always do what I need to do. And I mean, if I have to cause him a little bit of pain and a little bit of upset in order to keep him from being torn apart by a predator out there, then that's exactly what I'm going to do. Anyway, having said all that, he is inside. He's safe now. I'm covered in mud and worn out, but he's inside and he's safe, so it's all worth it. And I'm pretty sad that I had to do what I had to do just now. Rocky's my best friend. I don't like to treat him that way. You know, I don't like to make Rocky cry out in pain. But the only way I could get a hold of him and drag him out of there was to do it in a rough way, which did hurt him. It didn't hurt him in the sense that he isn't going to recover, but it did cause him some pain, for sure. I don't like being a source of pain for Rocky. So I do feel bad about it. But I'd feel even worse if I was in here right now and he was out there and he was in the kind of danger I know he would be in. Okay. Anyway, that's it. Like I say, I won't be putting that video out because it's just not something that I thought about putting it out, because I try to show the realism of how we're living here. I don't want people to think that this is something to aspire to, because it isn't. We're living in this situation because I didn't manage my affairs properly, because I trusted people I shouldn't, and also because the world has gone completely nuts and life is no longer affordable, which isn't my fault. So some of it is my fault, some of it isn't. Now, the fact that I can't afford to pay their high prices for life, well, that is partially due to the fact that I mismanaged my affairs. So even that is my fault in a way. But I'm not going to make it any better by allowing him to get eaten by a predator. I've already had that experience with Muella, and I'll never forget it. That left a mark on me that I don't think, unless you've had to listen to that, what I had to listen to that night, listening to Muella being killed. Unless you've had to listen to that, you can't ever understand it. Anyway, I'm going to break down if I keep talking about it. But I can't go through that again. I can't, you can't really get at the things because there's not a lot of room in here, and they go right up into the little corners and stuff. They're smart, you know, they know where to go so you can't get them. But anyway, the bottom line is, there we go, mosquito, I got that. I think that's one I already killed at some point before. Some of these bugs are clinging to the ceiling. I've killed some of them dozens of times now. But, because they're still up there, their corpses are still up there, and I keep hitting them thinking it's a live bug. Anyway, the sound of my Muella being killed is, that's going to be with me for the rest of my life. And I mean, I've had a kind of a rough go of it. I've heard and seen a lot of things that I sort of wish I hadn't heard or seen, you know. A lot of the things I've seen, a lot of the memories I have are nightmare fuel, really. Seeing people torn apart in cars, dead people, you know, people I knew. I came across a car accident when I was driving a cab in 1990, and there was a man dead in the car, and I knew him. He was somebody that I had known for a few years, and you know, blood pouring out of every hole in his head, out of his nose and his mouth and his ears. And, you know, there was a pregnant woman in a pickup truck miscarrying, actually in the process of having a miscarriage and stuff. That was a hell of a thing. And there's a lot of other things that I've heard and seen too over the years. I don't want to get into it all, but with everything I've heard and seen, listening to my Muella being torn apart by a fisher, having her head ripped off, that's right up there with one of the hardest things, maybe even the hardest thing I've ever had to. I was totally helpless. I couldn't do anything. This little guy worries me. With the way he's carrying on right now, wanting to be outside all night long, he worries me. I understand that he's a cat and it's instinctual, though. He can't help it. He wants to hunt at night because that's what cats do, eh? And he's still a cat. He's a smart cat. He's a great pet, I'll tell you. He's been a great friend to me, but he is still a cat. So he still has that in him, you know. And so I basically then have to try to defeat his instincts, which is pretty tough because that's nature. You try defeating nature, see how far you get. And so I get covered in mud, and I have to crawl around under this camper, which is a nasty thing to have to do. And I have to get a hold of him by the scruff of his neck and drag him out of there while he screams bloody murder. And that breaks my heart. But right now, he's in this box with his fish. He's not out there in imminent danger of being killed by one of the many things that's out there that would kill him. And so I did what I had to do, that's all. Alright, like I say, this won't be posted until tomorrow because the interwebs isn't working inside here. And with this tablet especially, I can make it work on a limited basis with my phone. With the tablet, it won't work at all inside this camper. So this will be posted tomorrow. Anyway, good night to everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful night. Like I say, this is reality. This is part of the reality we're living. If you were to see the video I shot of me taking him out from under the camper, it'd probably shock your sensibilities. Some of you might not like me anymore if you saw what I had to do. But I'm not going to show you, that's all. You don't need to see that. Just take my word when I tell you it was an unpleasant experience for both of us. And I don't want to keep doing that. I don't know what strategy I'm going to use to get him the hell out of there at night, but he's getting smarter. He's going in further in where I can't reach him, is what he's doing. And he's hoping I'll give up and go inside and leave him out there, which I'm not going to do because I know how dangerous that would be for him. Yeah, this too is reality. All right. Good night.